That's why these calls are so energetic, and they always brings me back to, like, the main, you know, the main reason why, I chose to do this. Not only that I love doing this and helping
Yeah.
others, but I'm able to, like, to live off it. And it is,
Yeah.
it's, and it does get, scary at times. So it's like dealing with, like you said, you
Yeah.
keep yourself in a certain way. You got to go, uh, talk to the, the big G up there, and just
That's right.
letting them know, yeah, hey, you know what, I'm gonna just run it. I'm gonna keep going, and just it's something that I don't think nobody will ever, like, not feel a type of way, like
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
gets a little bit, of like that fear and worry, you know.
Yeah. 100%. And that's where I think our students and all of these future potential students, what they could, one of the things that they could learn from us is this, based off this conversation alone. Every day they're going to encounter fear. Most people are dealing with fear at some type of level the second that they wake up until the moment that they go to bed. Okay. It's like very rare occasion where like we had that one peaceful day, but we didn't worry about something.
Mhm.
Okay. And what I want them to look, what I want them to see right now is, look, if they have a job and they got a roof over their head and they're all the basic needs and necessities, if they have all that, hey, they need to be grateful, because the higher they go, the more they desire and the higher they climb, they're going to have to shape their mindset from going from being so comfortable to come out of their comfortable zone to be able to push themselves to get to a certain place. And so you have to be able to overcome fear. I've been in the entrepreneurial space full time, like since 2016. You've been doing it for about six years now. And guess what? There's been a lot of ups and downs, and you have to be able to overcome fear. So if you can overcome the fear of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, then you can overcome the fear of fucking anything, of anything. All these, and I'm not making fun of anyone's problems, but when people tell me their problems, I'm like, fuck, that ain't shit,
Oh,
bro.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's like, fuck, that is not a problem. That's a blessing, man. That's like,
Yeah.
man, that's oh man, it's and that's good though, because then you're able to help them out with, like, nah, man, this is
Yeah.
not like uh
Yeah, they come, and I get it. Their problem or their problems is really big to them in the moment. I get that. But from where I'm standing, I'm like, shit, bro, that's all you're dealing with? That's
yeah,
that's
we're
easy.
past that, so
Oh yeah.
so
Oh
that's
yeah.
why, for us it's like nothing, and that's why we're able to help, because
Mhm.
we've been through that, we're
That's
at
correct.
a different level of, like, fear
Yeah.
and what we call problems, which we're still dealing with,
Yeah.
just our own thoughts and how we feel about it, and but we have, like, the tools and the resources to, like,
Yeah.
just working on our, with our mind, because it's all,
That's
like,
correct.
working internal and up here,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's almost like
There, a
everyday
lot.
struggle and work.
That's right. A lot of these big companies that I work with, a lot of them now, they're not even looking at that college degree anymore. They're looking at the people's experience.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is, I mean, you got all these people coming out of college now with these degrees, but they don't know how to handle the pressure of life.
Mhm. Yeah.
You understand? So it's like, look, hey, if someone has a really nice degree, hey, more power to them. Congratulations. If they have this accomplishment, all that, hey, more power to you. But living life and learning from it, and knowing what to do each and every time, and being able to teach people, that's where the real value comes in.
Oh yeah, and it's all personal
No,
development, because nobody teaches
yeah,
personal development.
nope, they don't.
No.
They don't. You
And
know?
when I first heard personal development, we were like, what? This really, like, personal development? It's like
Yeah,
personally, like, really developing yourself,
yeah,
to
absolutely.
your potential. And
That's
people,
correct.
oh fuck, like,
Yeah,
I didn't even get it, like, personal development. I know, like you said, and I heard it from you, that it's five pillars, and
yeah,
that it's just more than just health and fitness, and
Yeah.
another gem that I got from you, and when I study it and I really like uh
Hmm.
into it, it is, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what does it mean of personal development? Personally, like
Yeah.
develop yourself to be the best you, in
Yeah.
all areas. And then we'll go back to the all areas that you talk about, the five areas, that,
Yeah.
health, fitness, spiritual, and
Relationships,
relationship that you said, and
finance, and career. Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Because even like I remember, it's like when we talk about our health, like there's two different types of health. There's your physical health
Mhm.
and there's your mental health.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
lot of times people, a lot of times we just focus on the physical.
Mhm.
Okay, a lot of times we just, okay, I ate, one of the and I get it, I get what they mean. Like I'll give an example. I was reading some of the comments, and man, the comments we've been getting have been fire, bro. But one person commented, and I appreciate the comment, but I'm going to add to it. It said something like, "Oh yeah, there's no such thing as depression when you're working out. When you work, no, when you work out."
Mhm.
Now, first of all, there's some science behind that. When you're working out, your endorphins are fucking kicked in.
Mhm.
Okay, you're automatically gonna feel better if you go in the garage right now and you push out 100 push-ups. Whatever you were worrying about, you're not worrying about it at the time that you're pushing past 45. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, when you start to feel that burn past 45, that's it's you're not worried about anything. And if you continue the workout for an hour, for 2 hours, for three, your endorphins are kicked in, you're tired, so you burnt out your that negative energy. But guess what? An hour or two later, once your mind goes back to thinking about what it was thinking about before you started working out, then you're all fucked up all over again.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay, and so working out, that takes care of the physical, and it does help the mental. But with the mental, you got to go a bit further.
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
you know, like you got to take care of the temple. You got to take care of the body temple physically, 100%. A lot of people too, like in the professional space, they forget about that part. They're making money. They're solid in the career or their business, but they're always on the run and they eat like shit, and they're so tired because they don't have energy, so they don't go work out. So they let the body tempo go down,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And then what happens? Then they start neglecting their relationship. Okay. Now they got physical problems, they got relationship problems, and now they got mental problems.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They
You
start.
know,
Yeah, it's a domino effect.
you got mental problems. That's going to affect the other areas of your life, your finances. It's going to mess up. It's going to mess up. Once you have it up here. So when we talk about physical, health, we always got to remember to take care of the mental.
Mhm. So then let's break it down now, because okay,
Yeah.
like I say, in what you obviously co-sign is like,
Yeah.
you know the workout will kick you into a better way of thinking. I believe
Yes.
that it gains more clarity. I
It
believe
does.
that, you would probably change your perspective on like how you were looking at that problem, and that's how I see it. Not only that the endorsements are kicking in and you're getting, like a better feeling of like a rush, like a high,
Yes.
high. But okay, after all that wears down, the
There
problem
you
is
go.
there. So where do we bridge the gap of like, okay, how I believe that now you gain more clarity, now you have a better, more like maybe understanding. Like, how would you approach that problem now since, okay, you were pissed off at the moment, you had issues, you went and broke yourself off just to feel
Yeah.
good about yourself. You gained that clarity, you got that pump, the blood was flowing, boom. But the problem is, how would you attack that now?
Yeah. So just like we work out the body, we have to work out the mind. And this is where like one of my favorite things to do is I like to go to the track, like the running track at the local high school. And what I do is I start off at the beginning. I'll do as many push-ups as I possibly can, and then I'll take a lap. And then I'll do as many push-ups as I can until failure, and then I'll take another lap. And I'll do that 20 times. Okay, I do that. I can only do about 13 sets of push-ups though. Like after the 13th set, I'm not. They're just laps after that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't want people to think I did 20 sets. You know
You-
what I mean? Like no, after the 13th set is done, I'm toasted after that. You know, but but I'll do the you know but reps wise, the first 3 reps I'm doing well over 50. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Easily. You know, and I never thought I would get that high, but by the 15th lap, I'm in a much better headspace. You know, I'm burned out from the push-ups. I feel much better about everything. But the endorphins are kicked in. I'm not worrying or thinking about the problem or upset anymore or whatever it may be. Because now my it's on the verge of coming down. So I'm still at that stage. I'm looking at the issue. It doesn't seem as bad, but the longer that we stay thinking about something is the worse we tend to feel about it. Okay? So when you work out, this is what I want people to understand about working out. You have to work out. You have to daily. However, you still have to tend to the problem after the workout, because if you don't, then you're utilizing the workout to avoid what your problem is up here.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and okay, and once again, whatever it is that we avoid, we're going to eventually run into.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have to be able to say, you know what, I just knocked out 300 push-ups. That's pretty strong. And if I can knock out 300 push-ups, then I can knock out this problem. And the way that we work out the mind, you see, what I like to do, Guerrero, is I like to write out what my problem is. Like I'll ask myself, okay, bro, like what the like this is me just talking to myself, you know? Hey, bro, like what the fuck is it that you're upset about or you're worried about or scared about, or what is it you have a problem with? Like what's bothering you? Hey, I'll write it out and I'll be very, very straightforward with me, because we tend to bullshit everyone else, but you can't bullshit yourself.
Mhm.
So you have to write it out. Because what happens is when you write it out, now you gain clarity about what the fucking problem is. See, if you don't write it out, your mind, it likes to wander all over the place. You could be worried about one thing, but as you think about it in your mind, 10 other fucking things show up.
Mhm.
Okay? So, and I know you know what I'm talking about because we all experience
Yeah,
this.
yeah, no, absolutely.
So you have to write it out to gain clarity, and so you know specifically what the problem is. And then you have to ask yourself another question, a second question, and you need to write out that answer. And that second question is, okay, let's just say you're worried about something. The second question would be, well, why am I worried about it? Okay, what do I think is gonna happen? Okay, let write all that shit out. And the funny thing is, like, especially when you're worried about something and you write it all out, you start to see how ridiculous it is that you're worried about it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
get it?
Yep.
Okay, or I remember I got disrespected by a family member. Okay, they said something and they did something that really I allowed myself to become very, very angry, bro. Like I was upset.
Mhm.
So I went to go work out, got back, and I wrote, okay, Emilio, what is it that you're so upset about? I wrote it out, what that person said, what that person did. Okay. And then I said, okay, well, why are you so pissed off about it? Like, what do you think's happening, or what do you think's going to happen? And as I wrote out those answers, man, I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed because I realized that I was upset about it for no fucking reason, man. And we need to do that. In order for us to process whatever's going on up here, we have to write it out and get it on paper. And then we have to ask ourselves questions. It's a version of self therapy, by the way. Okay, you're asking yourself questions. What is it that I'm upset about, or what is it that I'm afraid of? Okay, you can check in with the negative emotions. Okay, what is it that I'm angry about? What is it that I'm sad about? What is it that I'm hurt about? Or what is it that I feel guilty about? Or what is it that I'm afraid of? The 5 negative emotions.
Mhm.
Okay? Check in with yourself, and then you'll know Because remember, anytime we have a problem, there's an emotion attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So by asking yourself how you feel, by going down the 5 negative emotion checklist, then you're going to say, okay, I'm angry because of this, this, and that. And then you say, well, why are you so angry about it? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to see when we're younger, like me and you, we grew up in Southern California. So when we're younger, let's say you're walking high school with your old lady and you're holding her hand, and some dude looks at your girl like, damn, she's fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he says it loud so you can hear it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll break this down now. So now we're upset.
Yeah.
Okay, but why are we upset? I'll tell you why. Well, we feel disrespected. We feel like, okay, he thinks I'm a punk,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm upset because he thinks I'm a punk.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, he doesn't think I'll do anything about it. So that's why he felt that he could disrespect me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's why I'm upset. But now I'm worried because now I think my old lady lost respect for me because I didn't do nothing about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm gonna lose her and she's gonna go be with this guy or someone else. You see how our mind starts to come up with
Yeah.
all this different shit?
Yeah.
And so when we write that down, somebody of a much more mature nature that studies personal development, they're gonna be able to say something like, look, even if he does think those things about me, he has a right to think about me or however he wants to. It doesn't mean that it's true. Okay. And the fact is, what am I gonna do? Go beat him up? And then what? He's gonna call the cops, I'm gonna land in jail? No. I got a family to support. And so I don't give a shit what this guy thinks about me because the only thing that matters is what I think about myself. You get it? You have to talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and or but our mind does this. So we have to write down what the problem is and then what we believe is going to happen. Like this is very big with fear. Okay, like I'll give you another example. Let's say somebody just lost their job or something, and they're afraid. They're afraid. And guess what? That's natural. That's normal. They can write it down. I'm just lost his job and I'm afraid. Okay, what are you afraid of? They're gonna say things like, "How am I gonna pay my bills? I'm worried of how I'm gonna pay this. What if I end up homeless? And then, oh yeah, and then what happens if you end up homeless? Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be in the streets. I'm gonna die." The mind goes to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in reality, as long as they get out there and make something happen for themselves, they're never going to experience the thing that they're afraid of. Okay. Now people might say, well, Milo Guerrero, that's bullshit because I know people who are homeless right now. But hold on. I can go and talk to any person that's homeless right now. And you know what's funny? A lot of them, they desire to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's facts. I
You
did
get
too.
it?
Yeah. He told me that this is what they want, that they just care
Yeah.
about eating their coffee and their meal, and they have no, like, he said, no worries. And some of them told me, oh, when I was delivering in Santa Monica, the promenade in Santa
Yeah.
Monica,
Yep.
well, because I was like, fuck, man, and I asked one of these guys, because they're like, hey, man, you got some? And then, right, because I used to deliver to McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right away they want coffee. So and I'm like, hey man, what you doing here? What landed you here?
Yeah.
He's like, check this out, man. I had all that. I had a family, I had a car, I had a house, I had this and that, but he said it came a point where I just said fuck everything, and I
Yep.
left everything and I just fucking went about my business, and this is all I fucking just care about: my coffee, my meal, and
Yep.
I just do what I want, wake up when I want. I was like, that's
100%.
what he told me. I was like, yeah, that
Uh,
he got tired of the bullshit is what he told me. So he chose that.
he chose that because I'm telling you something. Or the other way is if they got really fucked up on drugs, which is another choice,
Mhm.
right? You choose to do drugs, or maybe they can't stop drinking. They choose to do that, right? Or maybe, bro, I look at all these people that come out of jail now. Jail's not even stopping people from making money nowadays.
Mhm.
Okay, jail doesn't even stop people from making money. So when I believe as long as a person keeps pushing and keeps bro, they're going to achieve whatever it is that they set out to achieve.
Applies the pressure. Just keep
Uh,
up the pressure.
You got to do it. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But that's where I believe we need to do more and more people need to do what they need to do is they need to write out whatever's going on up here and get it on paper so they can see it and like, okay, this is what's bothering me. And then they need to map out what do they think that's going to happen or what are the reasons why. And they're going to be able to put themselves through a version of self therapy because when we don't write it out and we're not specific about it, we don't have clarity about it, our mind will wander the fuck about us, bro. It'll just keep going and keep going, and it'll come up with all these different scenarios. And then guess what? Now you can't sleep.
Yeah.
You go lay down, but your mind keeps going. The best thing to do is go out there and write it out and put yourself through that self therapy. I'll leave it on that note with that one. You know what I mean? So
Let's go. No, that was gold.